The best car in the world, probably. Rolls-Royce. Just say the name. It sounds important, doesn't it? Like a butler announcing dinner. For over a century, these cars have been more than just transport. They are statements. Big, bold, beautiful statements of having arrived and having a lot of money. Some say it's the best car in the world. A bold claim, that. Especially with so many brilliant cars out there, but you can't deny its presence. A Rolls-Royce doesn't just drive down a road, it glides, it wafts, it commands. Other cars simply get out of its way. It's like Moses parting the Red Sea, but with more leather and a much, much bigger engine. Think of luxury. Rolls-Royce has all of that. In spades, strap in, it's quite a ride. A fateful handshake. When Mr. Posh met Mr. Precise, it all began, as these things often do, with two blokes. Very different blokes, mind you. One was Charles Rolls, aristocrat, showman, speed demon. He loved fast cars and flying machines, a proper petrolhead, pioneer style. He sold fancy foreign cars in London, but he wanted something British, something better. The other chap was Henry Royce, not posh at all. Quite the opposite, he started with nothing, literally nothing. A genius engineer, though, obsessed with perfection. He built his first car, the Royce 10, because other cars were, frankly, rubbish. Royce thought, I can do better. And, spoiler alert, he really could. So in 1904, these two met. At the Midland Hotel in Manchester, Rolls, the flamboyant salesman, Royce, the quiet, determined craftsman. You'd think it wouldn't work. Oil and water, perhaps. But it did, brilliantly. Rolls was blown away by Royce's car. It was smooth, it was quiet, it worked. Taking to the skies, Rolls-Royce goes to war. Then came 1914. The world went a bit mad. The Great War started, not good. Everything changed, car production too. Luxury cars weren't exactly top priority, but Rolls-Royce had a trick up its sleeve. Or rather, Henry Royce did. He wasn't just good with car engines, he was good with all engines, especially powerful ones. The call came for aero engines. Aircraft were new, vital tools of war. They needed reliable power. Royce, ever the perfectionist, got to work. He designed the Eagle engine, a V12 beast. Powerful, dependable, just what the Royal Flying Corps needed. Suddenly, Rolls-Royce wasn't just making cars for rich people to swan about in. They were helping win a war. Quite a shift, that. These engines powered bombers and reconnaissance planes. They flew over the trenches of France. Roaring 20s and beyond, motoring for monarchs and movie stars. The war was over, finally. People wanted to forget the horrors. They wanted to live a little, or a lot. The Roaring 20s arrived. Jazz, flappers, and for the incredibly wealthy new Rolls-Royces. The company went back to what it did best, building cars that were, quite simply, palaces on wheels. The Phantom One appeared in 1925, replacing the venerable Silver Ghost. It was bigger, more powerful, more opulent. These weren't cars you bought off the shelf. Oh no, that would be far too common. You bought the chassis and engine, the oily bits, as it were. Then you sent it to a coach builder, Barker, Hooper, Mulliner, Park Ward. Names that whispered of bespoke craftsmanship. They would build you a body to your exact desires. Want a built-in cocktail cabinet? Certainly, sir. Gold-plated door handles? Of course, madam, the customer was always right, especially if rich. These cars were owned by Maharajas, by Hollywood legends, by kings and queens. They were symbols of ultimate status. Each one was unique, a work of art. The Spirit of Ecstasy, that famous bonnet ornament, led the way. Section 5, a bit of a wobble. When the money nearly ran out. Fast forward a few decades, past another world war. More aero engines, the famous Merlin engine, for instance, powered the Spitfire and Hurricane, legendary stuff. Rolls-Royce cars continued, the Silver Wraith, the Silver Cloud, then the Silver Shadow in '65, a bit more modern, but trouble was brewing. Big trouble. The company had grown massive. Jet engines were now its main business. Developing new ones cost a fortune. A biblical, eye-watering fortune. The RB211 jet engine. That was the culprit. A brilliant piece of engineering, very advanced, too advanced perhaps, and too expensive to develop. It nearly bankrupted the entire company. Imagine that, Rolls-Royce, bust. It was a national shock, a scandal, like finding out the Queen shops at Lidl. In 1971, the unthinkable happened. Rolls-Royce Limited went into receivership. The government had to step in, nationalise it. This was a dark day, a real low point. The car division was separated, floated off as Rolls-Royce Motors in 1973. The aero engine bit stayed with the government for a while. It was a messy, complicated business. The car company was now on its own. Section 6. The Germans are coming. BMW steps in, thankfully. The late 20th century arrived. Rolls-Royce Motors was still building cars. Good cars, very expensive cars. But they were, let's be honest, a bit old-fashioned. The engineering underneath was getting dated. They needed investment, lots of it, to develop new models, new technology. The kind of money a smaller company just didn't have. Several suitors came sniffing around. It was a bit like a stately home auction. Who would get the crown jewels? Then in 1998 things got really complicated. Volkswagen bought Rolls-Royce Motors, or so they thought. They got the factory and crew, they got Bentley, but, and this is a big but, they didn't get the Rolls-Royce name, or the famous RR logo. Oh dear, that it turned out was still controlled by Rolls-Royce plc, the aero engine company, and they decided to license it to BMW. Yes, the Germans. Awkward. So, for a few years, VW built cars at the Rolls-Royce factory, but couldn't call them Rolls-Royces. BMW had the name, but no factory. It was a proper mess. Section 7, modern marvels, phantoms, Cullinans, and an electric shock. And so, under BMW's wing, Rolls-Royce was reborn. Again. The first car from the new Goodwood factory? The Phantom, launched in 2003, and what a car it was, is absolutely enormous, unashamedly opulent. It wasn't just a nod to the past, it was a bold statement about the future. Powered by a silky smooth V12, of course, it was in every way a true Rolls-Royce. The magic was back. Big time. Then came other models, the Ghost, slightly smaller. Baby Rolls, some called it, still bigger than most people's houses though, and just as luxurious. Then the Wraith, a fastback coupe, for the sportier billionaire. And the Dawn, a convertible, for posing in Saint-Tropez. Each one meticulously crafted, endless bespoke options. Want your headliner to look like the night sky? With fibre optics? No problem. Want the wood trim from a tree on your estate? They'll probably sort it for a price. Then they did something controversial, something that made traditionalists splutter into their tea. They built an SUV, an off-roader, the Cullinan, named after the biggest diamond ever found. Some said Royce would be spinning in his grave. A Rolls-Royce for driving in mud? Preposterous. But it sold like hot, very expensive cakes. Section 8, still the best, the enduring magic of the Flying Lady. So here we are, over a century later. Rolls-Royce is still with us, thriving even, still making cars that cost more than a small island. Still a byword for luxury, for craftsmanship, for silence. Is it still the best car in the world? Well, that's subjective, isn't it? Depends what you want from a car. If you want to set Nürburgring lap records, then probably not. Look elsewhere. A Phantom is not a track weapon. But if you want ultimate comfort, unparalleled refinement, a sense of occasion every time you open the door, then yes, it's still right up there, probably at the very top of the tree. These cars are not about speed primarily, though they are deceptively fast. They're about how they make you feel, cocooned, special, untouchable, like you're gliding on a cloud of smugness. A very, very expensive cloud. The attention to detail is still astonishing. The way the wheel caps always stay upright, the umbrellas hidden in the doors, the starlight headliner, pure theatre. This isn't just transport, it's an experience. Each car is hand-built by artisans.